Hello everyone, I'm Absolutely Puzzled, and today I'll be taking a look at CubeScape Paradox, the 10th and final entry in the CubeScape series. Released September 20th, 2018, Paradox takes the formula established in the first 9 games and improves upon it greatly in the most ambitious and polished entry so far. The game was released as 2 chapters, the first being free to play, and the second costing $2.99. Released alongside the game was a fantastic 18-minute long live-action short film that follows the plot of the first chapter. I recommend watching the film before playing, as it really sets the mood perfectly for what you're about to experience. Paradox is a point-and-click adventure game that takes place almost exclusively in a small 4-sided room. You can navigate which side of the room is in view by clicking the arrows on the borders of the screen. The puzzles remain similar to the previous entries, with a mix of either searching for items and clues to use somewhere else in the room, or solving minigame style logic puzzles. Most of the logic puzzles were unique and challenging, but a couple instances felt out of place or lazy, specifically this awful tower defense puzzle, and this book puzzle which is literally just the towers of Hanoi. However, puzzles such as the map and chessboard more than made up for the small amount of puzzles that disappointed me. While the previous games had optional puzzles with the solutions hidden in a different game in the series, Paradox does something even more creative. Both chapters each contain 5 optional puzzles where the solutions are hidden somewhere in the film. These vary from counting objects on a table to figure out a secret television channel, using names in the credits to discover a safe's combination, or setting the in-game clock to the same time as the one in the film. Solving every optional puzzle is greatly rewarded, with both chapters receiving an alternate ending. Aside from the ending in the forest, the majority of both chapters takes place in this single small room. With that said, a lot of the items in the environment get reused frequently. The game does its best to stay fresh, but a couple instances got a bit repetitive for me, namely the over 15 television channels and the multiple safe combinations. An issue I had with some of the previous games was the occasional vagueness of my objective, whether that be for a specific puzzle or the entire game. Paradox always gave me a clear sense of direction towards my goal of escaping the room. That's not to say that Paradox was easy, just that the challenge is now figuring out how to achieve your goal, not figuring out what your goal is. The sound effects and music remain exceptional as always, with the main theme of Paradox being one of my favorite songs in the CubeScape soundtrack. Compared to the previous games, a greater amount of voice lines were recorded, with Dale and Mr. Crow having multiple conversations throughout the game, in addition to multiple other characters. If you're a fan of the CubeScape series, or point-and-click adventure games in general, CubeScape Paradox is a great experience, available on both PC and mobile devices for a very modest price. The story takes place inside the mind of Detective Dale Vandermeer, as he sits inside the machine at the bottom of the lake. Mr. Crow and Mr. Owl guide Dale through multiple memories and realities in their attempt to show their true plans for him. Spoiler alert if you want to experience the story for yourself first, but otherwise let me unravel this paradoxical mystery. After being abducted by Mr. Crow and Mr. Owl during his investigation of the murder of Laura Vanderboom, Detective Dale Vandermeer awakens to find himself locked in a small room. Although he is unsure where he is, he knows that he has been here before and escaped the room before. Mr. Crow calls Dale on the telephone in the room and tells him he is in a place of relaxation, a place to empty the mind and reflect on the past and future. Mr. Crow performs psychological testing on Dale to find the traumas of his past and make him face his darkest memories. Mr. Owl reveals his true plans to Dale. He tells Dale he needs to face his corrupted soul in order to continue his journey and become his successor as the ruler of the lake. After finding 3 cubes, a cabinet opens containing 3 vials of glowing liquid, 1 red, 1 blue, and 1 green. Dale decides to drink the red vial, which causes him to choke. He coughs up the key to the door and escapes into a snowy forest. He encounters Mr. Crow, who asks him if he made the right choice. Dale sees Laura and runs after her until the snowy forest becomes a summer day on the lake. Dale watches from the beach as the corrupted soul slices Laura's throat. He runs to her, but the body is gone, and in its place, a black negative memory cube. Looking into the cube shows Dale in the paradox room, and the loop repeats. Dale decides to drink the blue vial, which causes his soul to be fully corrupted. He leaves the room and heads into a snowy forest. He encounters Mr. Crow, who hands him a knife and tells Dale that he knows what to do. Dale sees multiple versions of himself, including a version wearing a deer's head and an older version hanging from a tree. When he reaches the lake, he walks behind Laura and slices her throat, as another version of Dale watches from the beach. Her body turns into a black cube, showing Dale in the paradox room, and the loop restarts yet again. This paradox is an example of a bootstrap paradox or time loop, where an event seemingly originates from nowhere. Laura's murder was the reason Dale was investigating, which led to his soul being corrupted, but Dale's corrupted soul is the person who killed Laura in the first place, causing a time loop that's been repeated for an unknown amount of iterations. If Dale decides to drink the green vial, the liquid kills him, sacrificing himself in order for Laura to live and the time loop to end. If Dale decides to drink none of the vials, he can find the golden cube Mr. Crow made for him. The wall opens, revealing an elevator being controlled by Mr. Bat. Dale gives the cube to Mr. Bat and enters the elevator as his journey continues and the game ends. There's still 5 more games in the series I haven't covered yet, but none of them continue Dale's story after he enters the elevator, unfortunately. The next game in the series I would cover is Rusty Lake Hotel, so let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. If you found this video helpful, then please leave a like, comment what you want me to play next, and subscribe to be absolutely puzzled. Thanks for watching.